Good morning, my name is Chrissy. Welcome to my garden tour. We're not starting on the usual spot. There's a hawk, so I just kind of want to hang out over here for a little bit. But today is May 4th, I believe, 2026. I'm in zone 7A. It's been unusually cold. We started out with a bit of a drought, but now we've gotten a decent amount of rain. And the garden has changed a bunch since I did my like late March, almost early April garden tour. So I'm really excited to show the change and then have you guys see it too. So this is the garden that I have put literal blood, sweat, and tears into. And if you notice, my husband did the greenhouse, so super excited about that. That's going to be its own separate tour when the shelves on the inside are done. But we will start, I guess, just on this side. So here's the status of the apple tree. It did end up budding out, but I'm just not excited about its growth and its placement, so I might just remove it. We'll see. And then in this first bed we have rhubarb, which I've already used in, sorry, the cat's at my feet. Some scones, strawberry rhubarb scones, some more strawberries on this side. This guy got super tall because I think it was super leggy from the leaf that was here, and then I ripped that one out. And we have some snapdragons that should be blooming soon. Tulips did come up. Oh my gosh, cat, he's so cute, but he keeps headbutting my hand, so I'm sorry if the video is shaky. But anyways, we have some cucumbers that are going to be growing up this trellis. Then we have irises, kale. I bought the kale, I bought the fennel, I bought the celery from the store, so I did not start that from seed. Our sugar snap peas are growing, which is exciting. On both sides we have spinach as well, and one of the tulips has bloomed. We have a bunch of volunteer violas. All right, in this second bed, here's the first one. In the second bed, this is going to be more herbs than the last one. We have parsley, dill, chamomile, a bunch of garlics. This is not where my main supply is, though. We have weeds. I think that's oregano. We have thyme, and then, not that it's an herb, but we have the irises. But they're just so pretty. And I did have a late frost that kind of came through and knocked it back a little bit. Some more tulips. This one's really pretty. Love the coloring. And then here's the peach tree. While I shouldn't be harvesting from this at all this year because it's too young, the frost killed back all the buds anyways. So we're not gonna have any peaches, even if I did want to. Forget the rule. We have some foxglove, some more irises. It's just really pretty. And then we have some beans growing. I'm getting ready for when the sugar snap peas crop out. So these are Seychelles green beans, and those will be the summer crop that replaces the spring crop. We have I guess you could call it volunteer pumpkin. Not really. I just threw one of the pumpkins here hoping it would grow, and it did. And then some more of these beans. And some more irises, and then this is more herbs. We have foxglove too. I'm excited to see what that'll end up looking like because it's so pretty. We got lavender, dill, chamomile, lemon balm. This is like my trio of favorite tea flavors. You leave it. Leave it. Psst. No. We have a bird in there. We have flowers. I think this is thyme, coneflower, oregano. And didn't do too hot because it got, what are you doing, buddy boy? Off the chair. Hi, buddy. Off the chair. Thank you. It got killed back by the frost. And then we have some strawberries. These are their first year, so I have to go through and pick off all the flowers because you want them to focus on root development this year. And then some tulips. So that is the front three. In this front bed, which is flanking the front three, or it like ends the front three, I put my gladiolas in here. This will eventually be artichoke. My artichoke did not come back this year. I was very upset about it because last year we missed like the big harvest. So anyways, I didn't like mulch them up enough, and so they weren't able to survive the winter. So I'm hoping that next year I can cold stratify them, get them planted in this spot instead of having the glads, and then we'll just have a fun little spot. Plus having the fence right here will help to contain them when they get too top heavy, so I can kind of like strap them in. But that's what this will be next year. For now though, it's gladiolas. So this area, I'm not going to go into too much depth, but we have raspberries, strawberries, and then blueberries. The raspberries are leafing out. They look good. That one, there's like a little bit of growth on right here. Strawberries behind me. I do see some flowers. I have to pick those again so they can just focus on root development. But this one is the Jewel, and this one is the Early Glow. Let me just pick those right because they're right here. That's Early Glow. And then we have 2 more raspberries, actually 3 more right here. This one just, I don't see any sign of life on, but that's one from a previous one that was in the yard. And then we have this random melon or a squash, I'm not sure. So I'm thinking that this is a pumpkin seed or some other type of cold hardy winter squash, because it got as low as 28 degrees and it was completely fine. And I thought that squash, like if there was a freeze, that it wouldn't survive, but it did. So anyways, I'm super excited to see what this volunteer ends up being, because I legitimately have no idea what it is. So, but it looks pretty good. Happy about that. I hear the chickens. I don't know if you can too. Oh, cat, my gosh. Over here we have the fig tree starting to leaf out, but you'll notice that it's not coming at all from the branches. So I think that next year I can just clip it all to the ground. We have asparagus growing. Now it's at the point where it's like going to seed. And then here we have some irises. The irises were originally from this one clump of iris when we first moved in, and I separated them out. And when I did that, they each weren't super like extravagant because they were smaller versions of that clump. And so I really didn't get too many iris blooms last year, but this year the irises are like, I don't even know, they're in their prime. So very excited to see that, because I just feel like the garden is starting to become a lot more like perennialized and just a lot more full, and it's really beautiful to see those spaces filling in, just not having like empty spaces. Okay, over here we have the onions. This I want to say is red onions, and they're getting pretty thick, so that's pretty exciting. Looks like some of them need a little bit of water, but yeah, lots of onions here. There's onions throughout. More irises. These aren't looking too superb with the seeds. This was the last area that I did seed, so I had to spread them out a lot further than the other ones. So they, I believe, are about the same height. They just don't look as majestic because there's not as many of them. I have spinach that's growing in front. And then over here I planted a baptisia. Then we have some more onions over here and some volunteer carrots, which I'm so excited about. I do need to thin them though, so that way they're significant. And then we'll do the greenhouse last. Through these tunnels going back to the front. Don't know what he was doing, better not be messing up my drip. Anyways, these ones to the front. We have some more peas. Again, though, some of the beds aren't looking as good. So, with the trellising, but that's fine because I'm gonna have way too many. We have salvia growing, 3 different colors. This one will be white. We have a foxglove from last year. Literally more onions. It's a little clump of spinach. This is anise hyssop or blue hyssop, something like that. Lavender that came back from last year. Wild garlic or onions, more onions throughout. And then we have sunflowers. These were getting eaten up pretty badly, so I sprinkled some diatomaceous earth. That's just ground up seashells. We do have some radishes and maybe beets. I forget which row I put things in, so we'll just see. But yeah, that's this over here. Guys, my fingers are so cold. I gotta just like make this a little bit quicker. Okay, more onions. These are small, they'll get there. We have hollyhock. We have foxglove. We have sage that's starting to bloom, which looks great. And a very attention craving cat. Some extra broccoli that I had. Potatoes, but if you notice, like, they're only growing up on this side. There's none growing up on that side. I don't know if, I mean, you can kind of see some pits here. I don't know if something's been eating them. I feel like that would just be like maybe a squirrel that dug a seed in there or something. I don't even know, but nothing's come up on this side just yet, so maybe it needs a little bit longer because there is a different variety, and so it does make sense that it would maybe be slower. Another iris. Look at this basil. Look at that basil. He wants to look at it too. This is purple basil, but it has some streaking of green on it. I think from just, oh my gosh, from cross-pollinating. Hi, buddy. Hello. I'm trying to film a video while the sun looks nice. Thank you for stepping on my plant. I do love him, I promise. Okay, but yeah, it has some really cool coloration from probably cross-pollinating with the green. So I'm excited about that. I think you bent my plant, dude. All right, here is a flower I can't remember, but it gets tall and it has yellow flowers and it's not a sunflower. Over here we have more rhubarb and blue hollyhock, and then barbecue rosemary. I forget what, oh, this is something like lanai something flower. It's supposed to be like ground cover. Normal basil, dahlia, nasturtiums. My garden center had nasturtiums, so I'm excited about that. Another dahlia, basil, and some more of that flower. And then, what is this one called? Tuscan blue, rosemary. And then that brings us back to the front trellis. This is going to be the rampicante zucchini. And I forgot to show you these two. Snapdragon, this is new. I had to take out the old one. This is all that remains of the old one because I chopped it too early. This will be eggplant, but I'm waiting for the temperatures to be a lot warmer than what they are now. And this is going to be our spicy garden bed, pepper bed. We have some lavender. I have some Thai basil because I figure that kind of makes sense with the hot peppers you could add into curry. We have some mustard as a trap crop for the eggplant on the other side. And then I also am going to do diatomaceous earth too. I forgot if I mentioned this in the previous video, but I had a lot of issues last year with eggplant. They just were not growing well at all. They were being riddled with flea beetles. And I was gonna give up on them, but I had read that the most susceptible variety for flea beetles, because of how thin their leaves are, is the black beauty eggplant. And that is the, what are you doing, buddy? Okay, anyways, you better not mess up my lines. I'll just add more holes and nothing wrong with that. A lot wrong, but anyways, my hands are so cold. Do you see that? Okay, I gotta be quick with this. Anyways, that that variety is the most susceptible. And surprise, surprise, it's the one that all people are familiar with. It's the most common one, and I don't think that's a surprise. Big box stores and big billionaire people are trying to make gardening harder for you, so that way you rely on them. And so if I buy a variety that's super susceptible to a pest, then either I have to buy that thing at the store, like the grocery store, or I have to buy it again from the box store, so the box store gets more money, and or I have to buy pesticide, whether it's synthetic or organic, but most likely synthetic, because it's going to be stronger at getting that thing usually. So anyways, you become more reliant on these companies, and you're now putting chemicals in your garden. But when I was researching a lesson for one of my AP classes, I learned that there are varieties, specifically, it's a bunch of Asian varieties. Those tend to be the most tolerant, but they have a lot thicker of leaves, and so it makes it harder for the flea beetles to eat them. So if you have a trap crop nearby, instead of having to chew through the thicker leaves, they'll just chew their, like a similar one. Mustard happens to be a really good trap crop for a bunch of things, but for the eggplant, for the flea beetles. So while it's not the same species, it does help with it. So that's why I'm growing that. Also want to make like fermented mustard. I feel like that would be cool, but that's a side note. So yeah, I wanted to give up last year, but this year I'm going in with a vengeance, and I'm gonna prove that I can do it and I can grow like a bunch of eggplant. So I'm excited. All right, back to this garden bed though. I think I'm gonna put my Calabrian chili peppers here. No, actually, wait, I'm gonna put them here. Jalapenos here, and maybe jalapenos here, or something along those lines. I just want to break it up using the trellis, and the trellis does have some more cucumbers here. My thought was like, ew, it's spicy, and then you have a cool, refreshing thing. I don't know. Oh, I did forget to mention, I did plant, they're so hard to see, but I did plant my tomatoes all throughout. That one looks the worst. They're very hard to see. It got a little bit of sun damage, even though I did harden them off. All right, and going through, we have some native thyme and the corn bed. They just started popping up. Let me see if I can find any. We have our very first corn. And then we have the last section, which I'm so excited about because my hands are really cold. So this garden bed over here, it does have a bunch of weeds, but planted between them are the onions. And then I went through, and in front of the rock I put the tomato. Originally I was going to put it centered with the bed, but I figured the closer it is to the fence and the trellis, the better support that they had. Again, every spot that you see a little tile or a rock, there's going to be a tomato in front of. And then we get to the broccoli bed, some irises, and they are doing good. I did have to replace some, so this one's gonna be smaller than like that guy. That's because this was one of the originals that I had planted. I think that one as well was original, so he's smaller. And then I had to replant some because there was a really bad frost that came by, and I think they also had some sun damage too. So I think coupled with that, they just ended up not being super great. But my local garden center, not a big box company, they have great deals on their products where they have 3 for $5. And so it wasn't terribly expensive to replace. And now I have the added benefit that I'm fairly certain, like look, that one's got a bunch of sun damage. I'm fairly certain I'll have a staggered harvest, and so I don't have to harvest it all at once and preserve it. I can eat it fresh for a while. So that's the second garden bed. And this one I planted some just spare, I think one of these got, yeah, one of those died, but just some spare broccoli. But I have chickpeas growing, so I'm gonna make hummus this year. I'm super excited. And then I had some extra tomatoes too, so I placed them here. More chickpeas, chickpea, tomato, chickpea. Like, this is gonna be great. So I'm excited about that. And for hummus, and then a little bit further down, we have the garlic. And look how good the garlic looks. The tree, when I did chop the bottom branches, one of the branches did fall on this area. So one of the sections is a little bit sad. It's this one. They are naturally just a smaller variety, but they got some, oh actually wait, no, it's that one. You can see like some of these are just completely bent over, and that was from the branch falling on them. I wasn't paying attention to that. But we have volunteer potatoes from things I forgot to harvest last year. And then last but not least, my cold fingers are so excited. We have our poppy bed. We have some more pumpkin popping up, which is amazing. And where did we put? Oh, and then this is one of the pumpkin seeds that is starting to grow. I think there's 2 right there. And I put a bee balm on this side as well, so just something random. Over here we did a lot. This used to have our compost bin. It used to have it had this stuff, but it was over here. And I just had this vision of sunflowers that grew over the big shed and just kind of made this area feel happy. And at the same time, sunflowers absorb toxins. But I just tossed a bunch of different varieties of sunflowers. Some are red in color, some are yellow, some are tall, some are short. I'm excited. I got the mammoth one, so I'm excited about that. And then things that were already here include the milkweed flower, which is great. That's a host plant. And the blueberries. And I just watched a video the other day that cleavers are good for something. I have to double check that, but yep, not blueberries, blackberries. Again, more sunflowers. I think this one's gotta be a mammoth because look how much taller it is. It's not quite a greenhouse tour just yet, but I did want to show you I have a perimeter greenhouse garden. I planted black hollyhock seeds here. I planted sweet peas here. This is, I have a tag. This is the mini pink hybrid beet delphinium. That already has some buds on it, so I'm excited about that. And then I think I did some snapdragon seeds. Oh, I forget exactly what here. I think probably, oh, zinnias. I think I sprinkled zinnias. We have some more sweet peas, and then this is a clematis that's growing. I didn't plant it to the depth that it said, so I have a feeling it's not going to do well. Some more zinnias. I think this is more zinnias as well, mixed in with cosmos. And I put sweet peas around the pipe outside. My dad helped me with this. I'm so excited about that. And then I think some more some more sweet snapdragons right here. So nothing's coming up yet, but it'll look good. And then I'll show you the pond. Pond looks pretty gross. We have some tadpoles in here. Let me see. Oh, here's some. Right there. I'm not even lying. I took my students to our local lake for a class activity, and I saw some tadpoles growing. And it reminded me of when I was a kid. And my mom told me, she was chaperoning me one of our field trips, I had a friend that was bringing tadpoles home, and she was like, hang on, I can't get the camera right. She was like, Maddie, what do you have in that Ziploc bag? She's like, nothing. Show me what you have in that Ziploc bag. She opens it and there's a bunch of tadpoles. And she's like, Maddie, you have to put those tadpoles back. What are you gonna do with them? And so she had to dump them. And so when I was at the lake and I saw these tadpoles, and there were so many tadpoles in the water, I like thought of that conversation with my mom. But I do have a place for them. So I dumped out my water and I filled it up with pond water and tadpoles, and there they are. So I'm kind of excited about them. I just shot an outro and wasn't recording, so that's great, but it's fine. We're in the greenhouse now that my husband built for me, and I'm super excited about it, and I'm already starting to use it, which is cool. It's not completely done. We still have to build some more of the shelves, but that video will be coming shortly when it's all completed, and chicken coop tour 2 I need to do. But yeah, if you like this content, if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. But other than that, that's the May garden tour. That's how things are going. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.